Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! Cairo sat in the cluttered living room of their modest apartment, the late afternoon sun filtering through the blinds and casting warm stripes across the worn carpet. His daughter, Mia, hovered nearby with an array of brushes, palettes, and tubes spread out on the coffee table like an artist's toolkit. At 22, she was pursuing her dream of becoming a professional makeup artist, and tonight she needed a willing subject for her latest assignment on transformative techniques. Cairo, a 45-year-old accountant with a quiet demeanor and a head of neatly trimmed blonde hair, had hesitated at first. The idea of letting her experiment on him felt awkward, but seeing the excitement in her eyes, he couldn't refuse.
"All right, kiddo,"
he said with a chuckle, settling into the chair she'd pulled up.
"Just don't make me look like a clown."
Mia grinned, her own dark curls tied back as she began. She started with a gentle cleanser, wiping away the day's grime from his face, then applied a smooth foundation that blended seamlessly with his fair skin. Her hands moved with precision, contouring his cheekbones to soften the angles, highlighting the curves she envisioned. Cairo watched in the handheld mirror she occasionally passed him, fascinated by the subtle changes. Next came the eyeshadow, a smoky blend of grays and silvers that made his blue eyes pop with unexpected depth. She lined them carefully, adding mascara that lengthened his lashes into something elegant and expressive. "You're being such a good sport, Dad," she said, her voice light and encouraging. As she worked on the lips, outlining them with a steady hand before filling them in with a bold crimson shade, Cairo felt a strange flutter in his chest. The lipstick glided on smoothly, transforming his mouth into a vibrant focal point. Mia stepped back, admiring her work, then rummaged through her closet for the finishing touches. She emerged with a form-fitting black cocktail dress she'd borrowed from a friend and a pair of strappy silver heels. "Trust me on this," she urged, helping him slip into the dress. It hugged his frame in ways that felt foreign yet intriguing, the fabric cool against his skin. The heels were a challenge, wobbling at first as he stood, but Mia steadied him, adjusting the straps. Cairo turned to the full-length mirror in the hallway, and what he saw stole his breath. The person staring back wasn't the familiar man he'd always known. It was someone new, someone who felt inexplicably right. The blonde hair framed a face that now radiated a feminine grace, the makeup enhancing features he'd never noticed before. A sense of alignment washed over him, like puzzle pieces clicking into place after years of subtle misalignment. Mia clapped her hands, delighted. "You look amazing! See? Transformative techniques at their best!" That evening, as they laughed over the photos she snapped for her portfolio, Cairo couldn't shake the feeling. It lingered long after he'd carefully removed the makeup and changed back into his usual clothes, but the echo of that rightness stayed with him through the night. In the days that followed, Cairo found himself replaying the experience in quiet moments at work, his mind drifting from spreadsheets to the memory of that reflection. He began to explore privately, starting small. One evening after Mia had gone out with friends, he ventured into online shopping, his cursor hovering over elegant dresses in jewel tones, emerald greens, sapphire blues, deep amethysts. He ordered a few, heart pounding as he confirmed the purchase. When the packages arrived, discreetly wrapped, he waited until the apartment was empty to try them on. The first dress, a flowing sapphire number with a modest neckline, draped over him like a second skin. He paired it with simple flats he'd picked up, practicing feminine mannerisms in front of the mirror, crossing his legs gracefully, tilting his head with a soft smile. It wasn't just about the clothes. It was the way they made him feel seen, authentic. He experimented with makeup on his own, recalling Mia's techniques, applying subtle contours and that same crimson lipstick. Each session deepened the sense of rightness, pulling him further into this unexplored side of himself. Months passed in this private rhythm. Cairo's blonde hair grew a bit longer, styled in soft waves that complemented the looks he created. He named this emerging self Ella, whispering it to the mirror like a secret affirmation. Ella's wardrobe expanded, a velvet emerald gown for imagined evenings, an amethyst sheath that hugged her curves just so. She practiced walking in heels, the click-clack on the hardwood floor becoming a comforting soundtrack to her solitude. Mia noticed subtle changes, his increased interest in her makeup tutorials, the way he lingered over fashion magazines, but she didn't pry, sensing something personal unfolding. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled outside, Ella sat at the kitchen table in a jewel-toned dress, sipping tea and reading about others' journeys online. The stories resonated, mirroring her own awakening. She realized this wasn't fleeting, it was fundamental. That evening, when Mia returned from class, soaked from the downpour, Ella decided it was time. Still dressed as herself, she greeted her daughter at the door. Mia's eyes widened, then softened with understanding. "Dad?" "Ella," she said softly, voice steady despite the nerves. Mia enveloped her in a hug, the rain from her coat mingling with tears of relief. "I've got you," Mia whispered. "Whatever this is, I'm here." Over the next weeks, their conversations deepened. Mia shared resources she'd researched, connecting Ella with supportive communities online. Together, they attended a local support group meeting, where Ella, in a simple amethyst blouse and skirt, listened to stories that echoed her own. The group was a haven of empathy, and for the first time, she spoke openly about that initial makeup session and the months of private exploration. Strangers became allies, offering advice on everything from voice training to navigating daily life. A year after that transformative evening, Ella stood before her doctor, ready to begin her medical transition. With Mia by her side, holding her hand, she discussed hormone therapy, the changes it would bring, and the path ahead. The doctor's office was clinical yet warm, posters of diverse faces lining the walls. Ella's blonde hair caught the light as she signed the forms, a quiet determination in her eyes. The first prescription felt like a milestone, a tangible step toward aligning her body with her truth. Life as Ella blossomed. She updated her wardrobe with more everyday pieces, tailored blouses in sapphire, skirts in emerald that swayed with her steps. At work, she confided in her supervisor, who responded with unexpected support, facilitating a smooth transition in name and presentation. Colleagues adapted, some with curiosity, others with quiet acceptance. Ella's blonde hair, now styled in a feminine bob, became a signature look, often complimented during coffee breaks. Mia continued her makeup artistry, now with Ella as a frequent collaborator. They spent evenings experimenting with new looks, subtle daytime glam or evening drama, bonding over shared laughter and creativity. One weekend, they attended a fashion event together, Ella in a stunning amethyst dress that turned heads. The compliments flowed, boosting her confidence, and she felt truly at home in her skin. Challenges arose, of course. There were stares from strangers on the street, moments of doubt in quiet hours. But Mia's unwavering support anchored her. They navigated family dynamics, explaining to extended relatives over video calls, some reactions warm, others hesitant but evolving. Ella joined online forums, connecting with others in transition, sharing tips on mannerisms and self-care. She practiced yoga in the mornings, her jewel-toned activewear a nod to her evolving style, finding peace in the fluid movements. As seasons changed, Ella's body began to shift under hormone therapy. Softer contours emerged, her blonde hair seeming even more vibrant against the subtle changes. She celebrated small victories. The first time a barista used her correct name without prompting, the joy of fitting into a dress that once felt aspirational. Mia threw a small party for her 1-year anniversary of coming out, inviting close friends from the support group. The apartment filled with chatter, plates of appetizers, and toasts to new beginnings. Ella explored hobbies that felt aligned with her true self. She took up painting, her canvases bursting with jewel tones that mirrored her wardrobe. Evenings found her in the park, sketching passers-by, her strappy heels traded for comfortable wedges. She volunteered at a local LGBTQ+ center, offering makeup sessions for those exploring their identities, paying forward the support she'd received. One crisp autumn day, Ella and Mia walked through a bustling farmer's market, baskets laden with fresh produce. Ella's emerald scarf fluttered in the breeze, complementing her blonde waves. A vendor complimented her lipstick, the same bold crimson from that first night, and she smiled, feeling the continuity of her journey. They stopped at a cafe, sipping lattes and planning Mia's upcoming portfolio showcase, where Ella would model some looks. The transition brought introspection. Ella journaled nightly, reflecting on the sense of rightness that had grown from a spark to a steady flame. She attended therapy sessions, unpacking years of unspoken feelings, emerging stronger each time. Mia, ever the ally, joined her for family counseling, strengthening their bond. Winter arrived with snow blanketing the city. Ella bundled up in a sapphire coat, her heels crunching on salted sidewalks. She landed a promotion at work, her expertise shining through in presentations where her confidence commanded the room. Colleagues sought her advice, valuing her perspective. Spring brought renewal. Ella's garden on the balcony flourished, pots of vibrant flowers in jewel tones echoing her style. She hosted a brunch for friends, serving quiches and mimosas, laughter filling the air. Mia announced her first paid gig as a makeup artist, crediting Ella's encouragement. As summer heated up, they vacationed at a quiet lakeside cabin. Ella swam in a modest swimsuit, her blonde hair tied back, feeling the sun on her skin. Evenings by the fire, they shared stories, Mia expressing pride in her mother's courage. Ella had become that to her now, fully. Back home, Ella pursued voice training classes, modulating her tone to match her inner self. The exercises were challenging but rewarding, each session a step forward. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in amethysts, Ella stood on the balcony, reflecting on how far she'd come. The city lights twinkled below, a metaphor for the possibilities ahead. Yet, a new opportunity loomed, a speaking engagement at a conference for trans professionals, where she'd share her story. Nerves fluttered, but excitement won out. The day of the conference arrived. Ella dressed in an elegant emerald suit, tailored to her form, blonde hair styled impeccably. Mia helped with the makeup, that crimson lipstick a talisman of strength. On stage, she spoke of her awakening, the support that carried her, inspiring nods from the audience. Afterward, a young attendee approached, eyes wide with hope. "Your story gives me courage," they said. Ella hugged them, feeling the ripple of her journey touching others. Life continued to unfold. Ella joined a book club focused on diverse narratives, discussing stories that mirrored her experiences. She dated tentatively, meeting someone kind at a gallery opening, their conversations flowing over shared interests in art. Mia graduated from her program, her portfolio featuring Ella prominently. The celebration was joyous, toasts ringing out. As another year turned, Ella considered surgery, consulting specialists with Mia's input. The decision felt right, another layer of alignment. One stormy night, as rain lashed the windows, Ella and Mia curled up with hot cocoa, watching old movies. The comfort of their routine grounded her. But on the horizon, a challenge emerged. A family reunion where not everyone had accepted her truth. Ella prepared mentally, packing her jewel-toned dresses with resolve. The reunion venue was a sprawling estate, relatives milling about. Ella arrived in a sapphire gown, blonde hair catching the light. Conversations started awkwardly, but Mia's presence helped bridge gaps. Some aunts warmed, sharing hugs. Others remained distant. During dinner, a cousin pulled her aside, curiosity turning to support. Yet, as the evening wore on, an uncle's pointed questions stirred tension. Ella held her ground, voice steady. The night ended with mixed emotions, but a seed of progress planted. Back home, she debriefed with Mia, finding strength in vulnerability. Ella's community grew. She mentored newcomers at the support group, offering guidance on makeup and mannerisms. One mentee, inspired, began their own exploration. Work brought international travel. In a foreign city, Ella navigated new cultures, her confidence shining. She visited museums, drawn to exhibits on identity and transformation. Upon return, she adopted a cat, a fluffy companion named Jewel, whose fur matched her favorite tones. Seasons cycled again. Fall leaves mirrored her amethyst scarves. Ella ran a workshop on self-expression, teaching contouring techniques Mia had pioneered. Winter holidays were festive, decorations in jewel hues adorning the apartment, gifts exchanged, gratitude expressed. Spring cleaning revealed old photos, a poignant reminder of her path. Ella framed one from that first makeup night, a symbol of beginnings. Summer brought a beach trip. Ella lounged in the sun, feeling at peace. Then, an unexpected letter arrived, an invitation to collaborate on a book about transitions. Excitement built, but doubts crept in. Would she be ready to bare her soul publicly? As she pondered, Mia encouraged her. The project could help countless others. Ella began outlining chapters, weaving her story with insights. Late nights typing, blonde hair tucked behind her ear, crimson lips pursed in concentration. One chapter detailed the private months as Ella, the dresses and mannerisms that built her foundation. Another explored medical steps, the changes and emotions. Support from Mia featured prominently, their bond unbreakable. As the manuscript grew, Ella faced writer's block, walking city streets for inspiration, heels clicking rhythmically. A breakthrough came during a quiet park visit, ideas flowing like the fountain's water. The book took shape, but just as she neared completion, a publisher's feedback suggested major revisions, challenging her narrative's core. Hope you enjoyed the story so far. The rest will be available on Patreon.